Are you chasing manifestations or real results? Let's break it down. Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, like, share, subscribe, and of course, leave a comment down below. My hope today is to take us from occasional breakthroughs to consistent supernatural living. So my hope is to take us from a place of inconsistency of results to consistency of results. And that only happens through intimacy. Let's look at the story of Jesus and the multitude, for example. Now, Jesus fed the multitude with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. In the multitudes were probably people that didn't know Jesus, right? And the multitudes were probably people who hated Jesus, right? And the multitude were probably people who didn't even have any affinity for Jesus. They were just there for whatever reason, by association, for whatever reason. They didn't even love Jesus. They were just there. So they didn't have that intimate relationship with Jesus. As a matter of fact, some of them didn't even have any relationship with Jesus. I dare say some of them had probably not even heard about Jesus until that time, but they were there for a miracle, or they were there for a manifestation. And guess what? They did get a manifestation. So the multitude got a manifestation, but the disciples left with abundance. What's the difference? The difference is you're trying to get a manifestation in a distance when you should be getting consistent results through intimacy. Now, the crowd who wouldn't have a relationship with God got a manifestation, and that is where the frustration comes in. So you get frustrated because you get sporadic manifestations here and there. It's not consistent. So you come to a conclusion that says that God decides to bless who he wants to bless. So because of your haphazard results, you draw a conclusion and say the faith is not working, not knowing that consistency in result comes from a place of intimacy. Now the multitude left with a manifestation, but the disciples left with 12 baskets. Abundance. They left with abundance because of the relationship, or the intimacy with Jesus. Manifestation can be gotten without closeness. In other words, you can get sporadic results here and there, not necessarily because of intimacy, but because God by nature is merciful. So even rain falls both on the wicked and the good alike, right? But consistency in result comes from intimacy. Have you ever wondered why the disciples were able to repeatedly get results? It's because of the relationship they had with Jesus. The moment they were growing, Scripture says the disciples came to Jesus and they asked them, why couldn't we cast out the devil from this boy? And Jesus said, this goeth not but by prayer and fasting. What does that mean? It means that your consistency in result comes from intimacy with the Father, comes from building that relationship. So that was telling them that until there's a level of relationship built with the Father, this cannot go out from you. So from the time they couldn't cast out the demon from the boy to the point where John and Peter, they get beautiful, said to the man, silver and gold we have not, but what we have, rise up and walk. What happened there? They had built intimacy. They had grown to a point of understanding. In other words, again, we can sporadically get manifestations in a distance. True consistent result comes from intimacy. And that's not gotten from a distant relationship. That's built over time. So again, my question is, are you chasing manifestation or real result? Because understand, a multitude got manifestation in a distance, but only the disciples got abundance because of the intimacy and because of the relationship with God. True consistent results comes from intimacy. The hope today is to get us from inconsistent breakthroughs to consistent supernatural living. And that only comes through intimacy with the Father. Stop chasing manifestations, start getting real results through your intimacy with the Father.